Baby Harry. The first true failure of Avada Kedavra happened on the 31st of October 1981, when Lord Voldemort attempted to murder the infant Harry Potter. Acting on the prophecy that a child born at the end of July would have the power to defeat him, Voldemort hunted down James and Lily Potter at their home in Godric's Hollow. James was killed immediately, leaving Lily alone to shield her son. Voldemort offered her the chance to step aside, but she refused and willingly chose death in Harry's place. That decision invoked sacrificial protection, one of the oldest and strongest enchantments known in wizarding history. Sacrificial protection is not a spell that can be cast by wand. It is a magical bond triggered only when someone dies willingly to save another. In this case, Lily's choice bound her protection to Harry's very blood, wrapping him in a shield that Voldemort could not break. When the Dark Lord cast Avada Kedavra, the curse connected but could not sever Harry's life from his body. Instead, it rebounded on the caster. Voldemort's body was destroyed instantly, while Harry survived with a single scar on his forehead. This event was significant not only because it marked Voldemort's downfall, but also because it proved that Avada Kedavra could fail. The killing curse is meant to be unblockable, yet it was undone by a power Voldemort neither valued nor understood: love. Dumbledore later explained to Harry that this protective enchantment endured even after Lily's death, giving Harry years of safety. In fact, Voldemort himself prolonged the protection further when he used Harry's blood in his resurrection ritual, unknowingly tethering Harry's survival to his own. Baby Harry's survival became the first known and most famous example of Avada Kedavra being resisted. It showed that the spell, while feared for its lethality, was not immune to the deeper forces of magic, forces rooted not in power or violence, but in sacrifice. Fawkes. The second major failure of Avada Kedavra involved not a witch or wizard, but a magical creature. During the battle in the Ministry of Magic's atrium, Voldemort launched the killing curse at Dumbledore, aiming to end their duel swiftly. To ordinary eyes, this would have guaranteed death, since no human spell could stop the curse directly. Yet Dumbledore was not fighting alone. His loyal Fawkes intercepted the spell in one of the most remarkable acts of defiance against dark magic. As the jet of green light hurtled across the hall, Fawkes swooped into its path. Instead of collapsing dead, the Phoenix absorbed the curse and burst into flame, crumbling into ashes before Harry's eyes. For a brief moment, it appeared that Voldemort had succeeded, but from the pile of ash, a newborn chick emerged. Fawkes had died, but he had also been reborn. The very nature of phoenixes rendered Avada Kedavra ineffective, because death is not an ending for them, but part of their natural cycle of renewal. This event demonstrated an extraordinary loophole in the curse's lethal function. Avada Kedavra kills by severing the victim's soul from the body instantly. For ordinary beings, this is final, but for a phoenix whose magic is tied to death and resurrection, the curse cannot anchor itself permanently. Instead of binding Fawkes to death, the curse triggered the phoenix's burning day, an already natural process of rebirth. The magic was nullified because it had no lasting hold over the creature. The significance of this moment lies in its uniqueness. No witch or wizard could ever replicate such a defense, yet it showed clearly that Avada Kedavra is not all-powerful. The spell is bound by the rules of nature, and phoenixes exist outside those rules. For Voldemort, it was another reminder that the magical world contained powers he did not control or understand. For Dumbledore, it was proof that even the darkest spell could be undone, not by greater aggression, but by the extraordinary design of magical life itself. Dumbledore's shield. Another instance where Avada Kedavra was resisted came during the same Ministry battle, when Dumbledore and Voldemort clashed directly. Voldemort, frustrated by Dumbledore's composure, hurled the killing curse across the atrium. To most witches and wizards, this would have meant certain death, since the curse is famously unblockable by traditional shielding magic. Yet Dumbledore, known for his quick reflexes and mastery of transfiguration, responded in a way that exposed one of the curse's rare weaknesses. Rather than attempting to meet the curse head-on with a spell like Protego, Dumbledore animated one of the statues from the Fountain of Magical Brethren, conjuring it as a protective barrier. The curse struck the statue, shattering it but leaving Dumbledore unharmed. This revealed that while Avada Kedavra cannot be stopped by defensive spells, it does not travel through solid matter. A conjured or transfigured object, if placed in its path quickly enough, absorbs the curse's impact and prevents it from reaching its intended target. The key here is the distinction between blocking and diverting. The killing curse cannot be blocked in the traditional sense. No spell cancels it, and no magical shield disperses it, but physical barriers, whether conjured instantly by a powerful wizard or already present in the environment, can stop it in the same way a wall might block an ordinary projectile. This does not neutralize the curse. The object struck is still destroyed, but it prevents the intended victim from being hit. Dumbledore's reaction demonstrated not only his brilliance but also the narrow scope of Avada Kedavra's effectiveness. The spell is lethal, but it is also direct. It must hit a living target to succeed. In this duel, Voldemort was confronted with the fact that his greatest weapon could be intercepted by quick thinking and superior magical skill. What he saw as an unstoppable force was revealed to have limits, provided the defender was both fast enough and powerful enough to act. Priori Incantatem. One of the most unusual failures of Avada Kedavra occurred in the graveyard at Little Hangleton during the climax of the Triwizard Tournament. Voldemort, newly restored to his body, sought to kill Harry immediately and cast the killing curse. Harry responded instinctively with Expelliarmus, the simple disarming charm. Under normal conditions, the result would have been predictable. Avada Kedavra would overwhelm Expelliarmus instantly, and Harry would die. But something extraordinary happened when the two spells met. Instead of one spell overpowering the other, the beams of light locked together in a golden thread of energy. This phenomenon, known as Priori Incantatem, is not a duel technique, but a rare effect of wand lore. It occurs only when two wands share cores taken from the same magical creature. Both Harry's wand and Voldemort's wand contained feathers from the same phoenix, Fawkes, Dumbledore's companion. When wands with twin cores are forced to fight one another, they refuse to directly harm each other, binding their spells in a magical stalemate. The killing curse, normally instantaneous, was suspended mid-air, unable to reach Harry. Instead, the energy connection forced Voldemort's wand to regurgitate the echoes of its past spells. Ghostly forms appeared in the graveyard. Cedric Diggory, Frank Bryce, Bertha Jorkins, and even James and Lily Potter. These echoes, while not true souls, created enough distraction to give Harry time to break free and escape with Cedric's body. The unstoppable curse had been stopped, not by superior magic, but by the hidden rules of wand lore. The significance of this moment is enormous. It showed that Avada Kedavra's certainty depends on the tools that deliver it. Even the deadliest curse in existence can be undone when wand lore prevents it from functioning as intended. This was not Harry's skill or planning, but chance. The rare coincidence that both his wand and Voldemort's were bound by the same phoenix feather. For Voldemort, it was another reminder that destiny and magic often resist his control. Forest Sacrifice. The fifth recorded failure of Avada Kedavra occurred in the Forbidden Forest during the Battle of Hogwarts. By this time, Harry had learned that a fragment of Voldemort's soul was lodged inside him, making him an unintentional Horcrux. To end Voldemort's immortality, Harry understood he had to die. Accepting this fate, he walked unarmed into the forest, surrounded by Death Eaters and Voldemort himself. When the killing curse was cast at point-blank range, the expected result was Harry's instant death. Yet remarkably, the spell did not work in the way Voldemort intended. The curse struck Harry directly, but instead of ending his life, it destroyed only the fragment of Voldemort's soul inside him. Harry found himself in a liminal space resembling King's Cross Station, where he met Dumbledore and saw the shriveled, pitiful remains of the soul piece that had been killed. The spell had worked on that fragment, but not on Harry himself. His own soul remained intact, giving him the choice to return to life. This resistance was the result of two intertwined protections. First, Harry's willingness to die mirrored his mother's earlier sacrifice, extending a protective enchantment over everyone fighting at Hogwarts. Second, when Voldemort had resurrected his body years earlier, he had taken Harry's blood into his own, tethering Harry's survival to his. By linking himself to Harry's mother's protection, Voldemort had unintentionally ensured that Harry could not be killed by him while he lived. The killing curse, usually absolute, was thus diverted. It fulfilled only part of its task, removing the Horcrux but sparing the living boy. For Voldemort, it seemed a complete success. Harry's body lay limp on the ground, but in reality, it was one of the curse's greatest failures. It proved again that self-sacrifice and ancient magic could overcome the darkest spell. Harry's return from this moment changed the course of the war, while Voldemort remained convinced that his power had prevailed. Elder Wand. The last and most decisive failure of Avada Kedavra came in the Great Hall during the Battle of Hogwarts. Voldemort, wielding the Elder Wand, faced Harry in a duel that would determine the outcome of the war. Believing himself the true master of the wand, Voldemort trusted that no magic could resist him. When he cast Avada Kedavra, Harry responded with Expelliarmus, a spell far weaker in reputation. By all conventional logic, the killing curse should have obliterated its opposition. Instead, the curse rebounded and killed its caster. The explanation lies in wand lore. Possession of a wand does not make one its master. True ownership is determined by allegiance, often won through defeating the previous master. The Elder Wand's loyalty had passed from Draco Malfoy, who disarmed Dumbledore at the Astronomy Tower, to Harry, who later disarmed Draco at Malfoy Manor. Though Voldemort physically held the wand, it recognized Harry as its rightful master. Because of this allegiance, the Elder Wand refused to kill its owner. When Voldemort forced it to channel Avada Kedavra against Harry, the wand resisted, turning the spell back on the caster. The result was instant. Voldemort fell by the very curse he had used to build his reign of terror. What should have been the ultimate triumph of the most feared spell became its ultimate betrayal. This moment is perhaps the greatest irony in magical history. Avada Kedavra had given Voldemort his power, his reputation, and his aura of invincibility. Yet in the end, it was this same spell, combined with his ignorance of wand lore, that ensured his downfall. The killing curse's failure here was not due to love, sacrifice, or chance, but to Voldemort's blindness to the rules that govern magical loyalty. The Elder Wand chose its master, and in doing so, it ensured that Avada Kedavra destroyed the one who had depended on it most.